Oh, welcome back. Another episode of my Seattle Mariners franchise. But we are finishing up year one because our season is over. We lost in the wild card round in game three, 9-6. Pitching fell apart. We had by far our best offensive day, but shout out to the Twins doing what they needed to do after falling behind 1-0. They outpitched us in game two. We just could not get any offense. I mean, a three-hit day there. Then we get the offense in game three, 11 hits, 6 runs, 2 walks, and the season ended. Luis Castillo, I put him in. He gave up 3 hits, the last one being a 2-run homer. Gabe Spire gave up a 2-run homer. Both those guys gave up 5 runs while getting 2 total outs. J.P. Crawford did his best, had a 2-homer day. But the season ended with Julio Rodriguez going 1 for 5, striking out on a slider down and inside looking. So, really disappointing finish. But, I think it's it's a realization of why it's so important to get one of those top 2 seeds, at least put yourself in a situation where you have more than a best 2 out of 3, in case you do hit a 2-game stride, where a stretch where things just don't go right. I said in the last episode, if we score 6 runs, I'm expecting us with our pitching staff to win 80% of the time, 70-80% of the time probably. It just so happens that this is one of those times where it did not, but we are just going to, let's simulate through here, see what we got. So the Dodgers, beat Arizona. Then they swept the Phillies in the NLCS. We got Minnesota is making a run after sweeping Kansas City, facing the Yankees, who beat Detroit 3-1. Now they're Minnesota is up 2-1 over the Yankees. Let's see. And Minnesota ends up winning the ALCS in 6 games, and they are now in the World Series taking on the Dodgers. So we will pull up let's just pull up, I guess the Dodgers schedule will be fine. Take a look. Dodgers lose game 1. So Minnesota's up 1-0, tied at 1. Dodgers up 2-1, 2-2. Minnesota is up 3-2. Dodgers able to tie it 4-3. Wow. And on the mound here in Game 7, Bailey Ober versus Roki Sasaki. And the Dodgers win back-to-back World Series championships. If there ever is a silver lining to, us exiting in the wild card round, we did lose to the team that won the American League. So, Dodgers repeat as champions. Let's take a look at our awards here. As the World Series MVP is Shohei Ohtani, who was relatively disappointing, I would say, in the regular season. He was, outstanding still offensively. Pitching, he was definitely a little lackluster. Mash, though, in the World Series. And our postseason MVP was Trevor Larnach. Of course, he destroyed us. Nolan Gorman ended up hitting 10 home runs in the postseason. Look at the boost that he got. Ryan Jeffrey, the 3 guys that killed us in our 3-game stretch all had really, really good postseasons. Gorman, of course, only hit 225. Ryan Jeffers, Trevor Larnach. The only thing that would have been any better if it had been Ty France instead of Nolan Gorman. National League side, Shohei Ohtani is your postseason MVP, out playing C.J. Abrams, who, of course, the Dodgers got in a trade earlier in the offseason. Don't know how he's going to fit in with Mookie Betts coming back, but Abrams obviously a solid player. So let's advance to the offseason. And our manager, Cannon Irvine, has decided to retire. Now, this is my first time going through all this, so I know have an idea of how things go, obviously, but take a look at retired players. We had 2 just lower-level guys. Charlie Morton retires. Adam Ottavino. Carlos Carrasco. Max Scherzer. Imagine he's going to end up getting into the Hall of Fame. Kenley Jansen. Jesse Chavez. Braves legend. Ryan Presley. Wade Miley. Brian Shaw. Miguel Rojas. Yan Gomes. Yuli Gurriel. Martin Maldonado. 54 overall catcher. He never could hit. Justin Verlander retires. Should have 2 Hall of Famers, I would guess. Don't think there's really going to be anybody else of note. Daniel Bard. It's going to be Matt Carpenter. What is it? overall, it ended up dropping to a 52 this season. I think that is Johnny Cueto. Okay. So Verlander does not make the Hall of Fame. Max Scherzer does, though. Obviously, both are should get in there. And yeah, here we are. Exclusive free agents. First thing we're going to do, though, is the staff. Probably going to largely do an overhaul. This is not a good hitting coach. It's not a terrible one. We're going to. I think we just need to try to change things up here. Yep, all about that. We will offer him 4.5 over 3. Getting that +3 to plate discipline, +3 to contact, +1 to power, I think would be really nice. Managers for hire. I mean, I would love something that's at least all good. So +2 to contact, that would be nice. So Thompson. Okay. -2 to hits per 9 with how good our pitching staff is. That's not horrible. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. I was going to say, does this get like progressively worse from like an attribute range or whatnot? Let's go. I think it's worth taking a shot here on Curtis Edwards. That -2 hits per 9 isn't great, but I do like the +3 plate vision, +3 power. Should really help out our offense. Go up just a little bit. Okay, so we'll keep an eye on both of them. What else do we have here? Pitching coach. That is not a good enough pitching coach for us. I'm trying to make some changes here because I would like to definitely see some better pitching here for sure. I mean, we had great pitching. I don't mean it that way, but yeah, Quintero here doesn't give you any negatives. That looks great to me. So he has interest in coming here, and then first base coach. It's not awful. I can deal with that. I really just don't want anything that's hurting our offense is really and truly the biggest thing. Let's see. One of these guys that maybe. I think we can probably need to get rid of one of these guys. We just have the 1 year left here on him. -1 reaction, -3 arm accuracy. We didn't have a ton of errors or anything, though. Let's maybe try to get another third base coach that maybe pops up right to somebody that's a plus all the way around. So he doesn't have great interest in us, but we can come back. There's always guys there. Exclusive free agents. Jorge Polanco. Definitely a guy I want to keep around. He's 32, so I'm not looking at any long-term contract for him. But a guy that's, had produced an OPS of 706 while hitting 222 to me is nice. So it's 22 home runs. He's either going to be playing second or third base for us if we do bring him back. What is he looking for? I think 2 years at $13 million. He's got a lot of interest in that. We can probably actually bring it down a little bit. If we go 1 year, how serious is that? I think 1 year, $7 million for him seems pretty solid with the production that we just got. Dylan Moore, you can find guys like him. I'm not really worried about that. Here we got. He was actually not horrible. We'll just try him out. Rowdy Tellez, Drew Pomeranz. We're going to let the rest of these guys slide here for sure. Let me just take a look and see what this is kind of, I guess, where I can be a little confused as to how much budget we actually have. So budget, Mariners breakdown of -98. So it's saying $52 million available is all we have available, which does not seem like very much there for sure. $7 million in pending offers. Sharon minus 98. So not a lot of money to be thrown around here, to be honest. Obviously, we got big money here tied in for 2026 for the next 2 seasons here for Luis Castillo. We got Julio on a steal of a contract really until you get towards the very, very back end of it. $52 million available. So I just want to take a glance. So if I offered Polanco, let's say we did 8, does that really drop that number down? I'm not going to offer him 8. I just want to see what that does for the budgets. 52.11. Okay. So we're going to offer Polanco 1 year just because he's 32. Let's offer like 6.6. I think that's a plenty good player for $6 million. He was worth negative WAR somehow because he's not good defensively. This is a team I'm much more worried about the bat than I am the defense of. Dylan Moore, there's just no offensive upside to him at all. Trevor Gott, I think we'll just let that test in free agency and just see. But that pitching clutch is just not good for a reliever. And we offered a manager. We've offered all those positions. Let's simulate here just a couple of days. Okay, so we have to look at another hitting coach. Yeah, we'll stop simulating here. Let's see what we got here. William Jang +1. Yeah, that's a solid guy there for sure. Yeah, let's try to get William Jang. Thomas Lane is accepted to be our third base coach. Curtis Edwards is our new manager. Today's the last day. I would not like to stop simulating. We're okay. I mean, the qualifying offer him is $21 million. I'm definitely not going to do that. Nobody's going to pay him that. And he'll accept that, and I don't want to pay him that amount of money. So I got the +3 plate vision, +3 power. It's a -2 to hits per 9. So as we're looking at hitting coach, we're still the heavy favorite there for William Jang. Then for pitchers, still the favorite here. Well, let's update this just a little bit. Let's go up to 4 here for Quintara. I want to make sure that we get him. Wow. Okay, he decides to still not come here. Today is a day to offer contracts to free agents. Yes, we would like to stop simulating. So I still need to do staff. Where do I do staff here? Okay. So hitting coach, still looking good for that. Is there not a quicker way to do this? I feel like every time I'm like backing out. So we need a pitching coach here. I'd like to at least get somebody that helps out that maybe that pitch per 9 now that we're struggling with. Because of our manager. I'm all about that right there. Give him 3-3, or at least offer that, see if he'll take that. So, we are now at free agency. And this is where it's obviously very, very new this year. We got the tender contracts too. So, again, what we will do is kind of, I guess, talk about just kind of what I'm thinking. Obviously, we're going to renew Emerson Hancock, give him a little bit more money there. Ryan Bliss, I think could definitely fill that role as a guy that can at least play a backup infield spot. So I'm okay. Yep, that's fine. Cade Marlowe, 28, deep potential, does not hit. Stats are okay. He's a decent fielder. I mean, what would it cost us? We can do that. That's fine. Shintaro Fujinami. Yeah, we're not going to renew that. Canzone. Didn't like what he brought us off the bench. So I'm good on that. 27, 67 overall. Deep potential. This is definitely the kind of the boring part here of the offseason, but it's part of it. Okay, so I went through and tendered contracts on everybody that I believe I am planning to. Not going to do it for Shintaro Fujinami here, because if you renew his contract, it's $3.3 million. I'm absolutely not doing that at all. Did not pitch for us last year, has been bad in his only time. See potential 69, 31 years old. Not really worried about it. Not going to do Blake Hunt, 27. How much is it? It's 800,000. Yeah, we can do his. But yeah, so it ends up just being, a lot of these guys are a little bit older. They didn't pitch for us this past year. Maybe it's a spot that we just have some other depth. I'm just not overly worried about giving these guys $800,000. So now I think before we do like free agency, I think we're just going to go ahead and offer salary arbitration. I think this will be an interesting thing to do here, because you can do this a couple of different ways. You can try to offer more money and avoid arbitration, which is probably what we would like to do. Kirby, is it worth? He's 28. We have 3 more years of team control. I'd put him at 33. Gilbert is also 28. I would be very interested in offering Wu, but he regressed a little bit this past year. That makes me nervous. Bryson Miller's another guy that's got 4 years. If you offer him arbitration, 4.3, like we could try to offer him that. He's going to want a little bit more. There's a part of me that maybe wants to, if we just did, for 1 year, he's looking at 1 year, he wants 14.4. Arbitration, I know, is going to be significantly higher than it has been in the past. Has this changed now on our budgets? $48 million available is all I have. And that's with arbitration and renewable estimates. Yeah, that's not going to leave you much money in free agency, that's for sure. $48 million. Let's do this. I kind of want to get one of these guys signed up. Both of them have. Does one of them have higher potential, just out of curiosity? Logan Gilbert, 93. Okay, so he's pretty well topped out. Kirby is 94. So let's say we wanted to sign Kirby, who we have 3 years of team control over. If we wanted to do 4 years, get him through his arbitration. Oh my goodness. He would be looking for $25 million a year. Let's do exactly 25. Just out of curiosity. I'm just trying to, this is going to be in the key thing, is like now taking a look at, okay, so now we'd have $37 million available, with the estimates and stuff at the top. Kirby is a guy that I think we probably should sign. He's been excellent now 4 years running. FIP has been good. Which one of their FIPs was better? Technically, Logan Gilbert's was better. Gilbert was the one that almost won the Cy Young. Obviously, we can kind of... So let's say if we wanted to get him through 4 years, he's looking for $29 million a year. I guess let's take a look at free agency first. It may be something where we have no problem, we may not really have any problem adding any, another player or two and giving one of these guys a big contract. I think maybe looking at power. Okay. Positional needs, definitely second base or third, because Polanco can play the other one. Maybe an outfield spot. Let's take a look at the free agents here. So, obviously, you would love to bring in a Kyle Tucker of the world. Kyle Tucker and Vlad are obviously the big two. Now, we do have, for what it's worth, we just drafted, which we need to take a look at our draft, guys. We'll do all free agents. Obviously, I would love to bring in a Vlad. He's looking for $26 million a year. Kyle Tucker is looking for 34 over 8 years at 29 years old. He is coming off an 869 OPS. Vlad is coming off a 909. So obviously, you would love to have either one of them. I don't know how realistic that is. Let's take a look just first off at first and second base. So Gleyber Torres is looking for 5 years, 13.8. He's 29 years old, 82 overall, good contact, good power against lefties, good vision and plate discipline. He is a horrific defender, though. Let's see. 799 OPS. That would have been, higher than Julio Rodriguez. Had a 22 homer season, so he had a really nice contract year there. Luis Rengifo would be looking for 11. Call it 12. Polanco, of course, we have already offered him, I know, a scholarship. So, this is, I guess, kind of a confusing thing to me. So I want to bring back Polanco, so I guess I need to put him on the thing. Yeah, I guess I need to put him back there. So now let's go back here to second baseman. What about third baseman? Got Rosario, Mateo, Brendan Rodgers, Iglesias. So you got 637 OPS. Mateo did not hit at all. Newman had a good season. Rengifo looking for 2 years, $12 million. Let's put him. We'll just put him on the list just for right now. So that's still a 7% boost. I don't know why that's showing in red. I just don't know if it's because we already offered him a scholarship, though. That's the only thing that I think is a little weird with this new, with the new kind of free agency things. You don't get to, I don't know how to just easily see what you've already, who you've already offered, I guess. Right fielder, let's just say we wanted to try to add somebody in the outfield. Lane Thomas did not have a good season. Harrison Bader was solid. Got an 811 OPS here from Grisham, but he is 34 and already regressing. Not crazy about that. Marcelo Zuna is obviously really just a DH. 36 homers, 895 OPS. Didn't drop too much. 15 mil would maybe not be terrible. 895. Max Kepler was a guy that had a really strong season there for Philadelphia. Posted a 300 batting average. Could you really expect him to do that again? I think Kepler is a guy worth keeping an eye on, though. Winker, nice bounce back. He's 32. Kepler's 33. Florida, 762. Not bad there at all. Really more looking for infield guys, though, for sure. Castro is a guy that I brought up. Obviously, Bichette, a 796 OPS. He's looking for $20 million a year. Hampson's looking for 11. Castro looking for a little over 11. Good defense. Can play a bunch of different positions. Got the arm to potentially play third base for us. Just a 688 OPS, which is obviously not terrible at all. We had plenty of guys with lower than that. Look, I would love to have just a little bit more than that, though, for sure. So Torres had a 799 OPS, but he's looking for a 5-year deal. I don't think I'm going to be willing to look at that big of a number. We already got Luis Rengifo up here. The switch hitter, 783, had a 764 OPS the year before. 10 homers, played 105 games, 99 contact. Good bat. Not going to walk a ton, but he should hit at a high level. So one of these guys could play third. It would probably have to, be Rengifo just because of the arm. Polanco can certainly get you by over there. That would be signing. I just don't know how much money that would be. That's just the only thing. Obviously, I'd love to have Tucker. I just don't think that's. I just don't think I can give him $34 million if we only have 48 available Pitching staff is definitely starting to get a little expensive. So I don't know, maybe it's worth the idea of maybe looking at trading Luis Castillo. Let's see. I think adding a guy like Conforto here is 33. It's a lefty, good overall bat. So you got Burleson that can't really do anything other than DH. Maybe play a little first base. You got Luke Rayleigh, who is currently the first baseman. You got Victor Robles, who at least provides stolen bases. Julio. Randy Arozarena is under contract. Was not great this past year, but certainly, hit for power. I mean, I would like to add an outfield spot guy, but I would rather it be a guy like Kyle Tucker if I'm going to add somebody to the outfield. And I just don't think with the amount of money that he wants, he's going to be the only free agent essentially that we sign. Was really interested in a guy like Willie Castro, but I'm worried he's going to be another just sub 700 OPS guy that we do not need. Whereas if we can get a guy like Rengifo, with a 356 on base percentage a year after 347, he's a guy that can slot at the very top of our lineup there ahead of Julio and fit nicely, be a guy that can get on base, 20 stolen bases. Then you put Polanco just right back where he was, just kind of towards the middle of the lineup. I do like that. Let's see. Okay. So if let's see. We'll put Rengifo, Jorge Polanco. I guess I have to add somebody else here. Certainly would not mind adding another arm to the rotation. 35. Luke Weaver's 32. Patrick Sewell was not great. Scott Barlow, 379. Colombe was not bad. Taylor Rogers, a 1.99 ERA, is 35. You got to think that he's getting ready to kind of start collapsing there a little bit. Miguel Castro, 72 overall, a 2.45 ERA. What does it FIP look like? It was a 3.58, so he's pitching a little above the metrics there. 3.61, 2.45, 1.33. I think adding a guy like Miguel Castro to this bullpen would probably not be the worst thing. So we'll at least just put him on there for right now. Got to figure out what I want to do with this. This is kind of the scary thing. So we're looking at $48 million available. And that does not count. Right now we do not have, Jorge Polanco is not counting here towards the roster at all. Well, speaking of which, Adrian Ramirez, first overall pick, 75. Or the number 3 pick, our first pick, could probably play literally right away. I don't see any quirks. From what I understand, you can check that out in the offseason, I guess, if they have them. Maybe that just means he doesn't have any. Let's see, who is maybe somebody else we drafted. Gary Valencia. Okay. I mean, to get him that 1 year past his, I mean, I can literally offer him arbitration for even if it did 4 or 5 there. I think it's probably going to end up being the right call as offering arbitration. I mean, Kirby is our guy. This is going to be a long episode for sure. Much longer than what I planned it to be. I am already questioning everything, and we have not essentially done anything. Raleigh, we're definitely going to just offer. I'm really worried that I think I'd rather take a chance at having to pay him more next year. I think I'd rather just offer him arbitration than dealing with another year of regression. Same with Wu. I mean, he was really good, but that worries me with the regression that he had despite having a good season. Bryce Miller, arbitration to 800. Yep, we'll just pay that, or at least set that up. Definitely won't brash around. Arozarena. this is where you can, I guess, make a decision. What would his arbitration number be? 11.3 million. For a guy that did hit 26 home runs, slugged 727. So let's come back to that. Rayleigh, 800. He had a really nice second half for us. 792 OPS. It was actually above Julio's, if I'm not mistaken. Gregory Santos, unfortunately, got hurt. I'm definitely going to offer him salary arbitration. I just don't think any of these guys are really worth like the extended big contracts down here. That's not. And I guess that's kind of the negative, like really and truly, like at this point, Kirby is so good, you're going to have to pay him so much money that even if you just give him arbitration this year, that's his 28, 29, 30. So he'll be 30 by the end of this. He's just so good already that it's almost worth just, just using, just using arbitration. So Gilbert, if we want to do 3 years on him, it does then at that point drop to 27. That would give us the extra year of him. I think maybe I would not mind because we're buying one less year of Gilbert, but that would then keep him and Kirby together. Like, let's maybe offer 3 years. I just offer exactly what he's looking for, 27.4. At least do that for right this second, and then that would make our budget $57 million available right now. Okay. We offered arbitration to Kirby. I think just trying to buy that extra year right now is not really what I'm trying to do, and I'm trying to kind of this first all season when I'm trying to figure out how much money I can actually give away, I think would be a good idea. And obviously we can always come back, take another look at the Gilbert. He finished second in the Cy Young, a 2.91 ERA, a 3.39 FIP. I have no problem really and truly with either one of these guys being the guys we give the big contract to. Both of them 77 durability for Gilbert, 84 for Kirby. They both 33 starts, 30. I mean, these guys make all their starts. We can always come back and offer him arbitration later. Maybe we can get him signed, though. Maybe that would be a nice thing that we can do. Hold on. You may continue to negotiate a contract with the player until their arbitration hearing. You may continue to negotiate with the player, but if remained unsigned, you must offer arbitration on November 23rd. Okay, so we'll just stick with this for right now. On Gilbert, I don't guess it hurts to offer arbitration. Do like 8 mil on that. So he definitely would be getting a pay bump from us and getting the extra year of security on him if he does decide to sign that deal. So we have $57 million available. As we go into free agency, I really want Jorge Polanco back 100%. He just wants 2 for 7. We're going to offer 1 for 7. Is at least my plan right now. Luis Rengifo, I think, makes a lot of sense for us. He's got the positional flexibility. He can play third. He wouldn't play it extremely well. Our defense in the infield is not phenomenal at all with Polanco, Rengifo, and Crawford. But it doesn't kill the team either. I think a 2-year deal for him, even a 2-year deal for Polanco, I think he's going to hit enough to be okay. I really like what Rengifo could potentially bring to this team. That would also be 2 switch hitters, which would be nice. Castro. Let's just remove Castro. Why don't we just add like a... Let's just add Kyle Tucker. Because I don't want a pitcher. So like that, it doesn't make any sense for me to go after a pitcher. Unless we really wanted to go for like a high-end relief pitcher. It's $5 million for Pagan, that was really good. $10 million. Kyle Finnegan, he's 34. Orange 39, regressing. Yeah, Mahelsley's just looking for so much money. Like the bullpen is not really a massive problem. That's why I'm not really mad about it. Like, I think we can wait to go after a guy like Castro. So do you just go for the big the big swing at Kyle Tucker and just see what his wants to play for us would even be. I'm not interested in signing Torres for 5 years. I mean, that's a 79.9 OPS would be nice to add. I think I can live with what we did here. Eugenio Suarez, he's 34. A lot of money from him. I was Moncada last year. Not good. Okay. And shortstop. I'm really interested in Willie Castro. I really am. I love the positional flexibility. I think he'd be a really good defender for us. Either, with him at shortstop and you move Crawford around, if Crawford has secondary positions. He'd probably be better suited with that arm accuracy at second base or third base more so than shortstop. But a guy he's just a little too light for what I'm looking for at the plate. 688 OPS. He's a little bit down. He's 28 years old. Let's add. I'm not going to pay Kyle Tucker. Let's be honest. That's. I mean, Kyle Tucker is wanting $34 million. I'm not paying Kyle Tucker $34 million. Kepler, with that season he just had, or Winker with that season he just had, Kepler can play against anybody and be solid and can play defensively. Do you then not offer Randy Arozarena? I think that's kind of the thing. Do we think we could sign one of these players and they essentially replace Arozarena? Conforto is 33. Because we have not offered Arozarena yet. This would be the last year for Arozarena of arbitration. He is coming off. Pretty much, I think we can kind of expect a 720-ish, a 700 to a 730 OPS, 20 homers, 20 steals, good enough defensively. I don't really know that there's a point for chasing after somebody in free agency unless they are for sure an upgrade at that spot. So if we're going to go, an outfielder, it doesn't have to be Kyle Tucker, but it might as well be a Max Kepler. Had a huge year in Philly, 128 games. He's a worse overall than Arozarena. Winker has just an outstanding discipline, but he's essentially a DH only. That's what really worries me. I think I'd rather just give Arozarena the money. So we'll keep Willie Castro there. I really want to shore up the infield. I think that's the big worry for me. Let's go ahead and let's offer Arozarena arbitration at 11. Okay. Now we've offered arbitration on everybody. And put your budget at $56 million available. Let's fast forward. William Jang comes our hitting coach there. So we're getting close. Still looking for a pitching coach. Still his best offer there, so feel okay about that, okay? Okay, so we have our coaching staff is done, which is nice. Yes, I would like to stop simulating. Take a look at free agency. Willie Castro doesn't have a whole lot of motivation to sign. What are his motivations? Contact, additional need. Let's offer Polanco 7.3. Rengifo, he is 29, coming off a good season, good contact hitter, still improving. Not a great defender, but probably good enough for us to survive. Or do you wait? Got a couple of teams going after him. Let's offer Polanco. Let's wait on Rengifo and just see what might be going on with Castro here. I just really worry about Rengifo's glove. That's really it. That's the only real complaint I have. He would be playing third base for us, so it's not terrible. Polanco, 16 errors. I mean, he ended up being a negative WAR player, but did enough for us with the bat. 706 OPS. I mean, I definitely think it is smarter to go after Rengifo. I need to focus on getting Rengifo in this situation. Let's 2 years. Like 12-8. Try to offer him a contract. And we get a nice motivation there because we were the first ones to really offer him there. Polanco playing second. Rengifo playing third. Give you a good on-base guy to go ahead there of... And if we do that, then we don't have to worry about Willie Castro, who doesn't have a ton of motivation to sign. So we'll lock in there. Let's move things forward here. Framber Valdez signs with the Baltimore Orioles a 4-year, $130 million deal. He is the first domino to fall here in the offseason as the Orioles get a nice player there. Oh, we got a contract decision. First one of the franchise. Who is it going to be? What is it going to be? We are signing, I think it's going to be Polanco. Luis Rengifo comes to the team, 2 years, $12.85 million. Rengifo should slide in right at the top of our order and really solidify our infield, assuming we can bring in Jorge Polanco. I think at this point we can now move on from, thinking at this point you can move on from Willie Castro, assuming that we could potentially get must be set by tomorrow. Yes. Okay. Players you could lose in the Rule 5 draft. So, we are absolutely doing sort by this. Harry Ford is getting added to the 40-man here. So, Harry Ford is one of our top prospects, 23 years old, 71 overall. Unfortunately, did not get as much development as he possibly could have, being hurt a lot of this year. We didn't get a chance to play with him. We'll take a little swing with him or two in spring training. Really good athlete for the catcher position, good defensively, and the bat is certainly developing enough to where I think probably will spend another season in the minors. But as you know, we're kind of getting to this questionable point with Cal Raleigh. Maybe Ford is a guy there. No, I don't care if somebody picks up Fujinami. Let's see. Joyce 27, I'm okay there. Okay there. Taylor $65. See potential. How many people do I have on my 40-man? Right now I have 38 people. Plus, we still got some guys I want to add to not really like if we lose some of these guys, it's not the end of the world, and we're at 38 people, on the 40-man. So, if you lose a 27-year-old, see potential. It's a guy that to me is pretty well at the top of his game. I'm okay with it. It'll be fine. Contract decision. Jorge Polanco is coming back to Seattle. 1 year, $7.3 million. So we got our two biggest wants out of, our initial group we were looking at. Luis Rengifo slides right to the top of the order. J.P. Crawford, Jorge Polanco, who I just love hitting with, provides pop. I think puts us in a really good spot there. Dylan Cease gets a big deal here. 7 years, $227 million from the Mets. Shout out to him. Ryan Helsey. Gets a nice contract there. 4 years, $15 million. From the Phillies. Sorry, was answering my wife in a text message. So Helsey gets a nice deal from the Phillies. So yeah, let's quit simulating. Let's take a look now at kind of what this lineup looks like. Rengifo. And let's put Jorge Polanco. We'll probably want Rengifo playing third with the better arm. Yep. So Rengifo then. I mean, honestly, Robles, 322. You'll probably put him more at the very bottom of the order with that 56 stolen bases. Seriously, like an extra leadoff hitter. J.P. Crawford, a 336. That would give a 356 on-base percentage and a 336 on-base percentage ahead of Julio Rodriguez and Cal Raleigh. Is Burleson maybe somebody now you kind of look to fill a void as a DH, and maybe he goes to the bench as a guy that can play, a couple of the outfield spots, play first base, can do a little DHing. Rayleigh, I think, has definitely earned some goodwill. And we didn't trade enough for Burleson to make me feel like we have to force him into the lineup or anything. Polanco, Rosarena, you're certainly expecting him to be a player. He's good enough, provides enough overall value. But we definitely have some spots that, like a Burleson, all of a sudden is a bench player. We have a guy that can DH. I think we can maybe make this work. Let's get these guys. These lefties definitely want Crawford hitting towards the top. It would also provide, again, if we can find a righty that hits lefties, I think that would be fine there as well. So, yeah, I don't feel like there's really any need in going after Willie Castro now. Move him from the big board. Let's now take a look at Kyle Tucker. I think it'd be kind of fun just to add him to the board. I'm not really expecting much from that. Now I think we can look at, a guy like Conforto. He's 33, is not going to be overly expensive. Kepler's the one that just had that really, really good year, though. Like, do you buy that? He's a lefty, but he hits lefties, so that's not a problem at all. He could very easily, play over. He can't play first base, so that's at least kind of a problem. He could play the outfield, put a Rosarena maybe at DH against lefties. Let's add Kepler and just see what that looks like. And then I think now would be a good time to maybe just look at a couple of guys here in the bullpen. Are going to be very expensive. Hunter Harvey was not good last year. Shelby Miller was solid, though. 372 FIP. This is the same guy that was so good for the Braves. They ended up trading him for Ender Inciarte and a prospect by the name of Dansby Swanson. Shelby Miller, great pitching clutch. Yeah, we'll add him. I have no problem adding a player like him at 35. I think the stats are so good, even if he regresses, he's going to be fine. I think we're going to add Kyle Tucker just for fun, just to see what he would maybe be interested in. Or do you just go for a guy like Jesse Winker, who maybe doesn't hit for a ton of power, but is going to walk an astronomical amount of time to fit in the middle of the lineup? Like, is that a better deal than a guy like Kepler? Kepler does not walk as much. But Kepler can play defense. They think Kepler is a little bit better player. I can get a Winker for cheaper though, and he is an on-base machine. That is the biggest thing that I want is guys that can get on base, and you add in the fact that he's got 99 clutch, got enough pop against everybody that you don't have to worry about benching him. He's a DH only, essentially. Can only play the outfield, so that would take Burleson at that point would be outfielder 4. Winker is going, but then he would be, he would be in the starting lineup as a DH every single day. So Shelby Miller and Jesse Winker are really the two guys we're looking at here. Kyle Tucker, just for fun, I think is worth trying to look to see there. We do have $40 million available. We obviously don't have to spend it. So as we look at the bullpen, Emerson Hancock, he hasn't used any minor league options, so really sending him down to AAA would not be the biggest deal, but I plan on having him in the rotation. We get Gregory Santos back, 76 overall. He was great, just dealt with a lot of injuries. Trent Thornton was really good, and he'll be back. Colin Snyder was really good. Salcedo, 32.69. He's had 2 of his options used. He's 32 years old, so that's a spot I don't mind replacing. So that's one reliever spot that's at least kind of open. That's pretty much it. So one guy. So I think a guy like Shelby Miller, does he kind of fit exactly what I'm looking for if I'm going after one relief pitcher, while trying to still save money at the same time? Castro's 31, 2.45 ERA. He's really solid across. My thing with Shelby Miller is essentially a perfect pitch clutch and hits per 9, and doesn't walk guys. I feel really comfortable with him replacing Salcedo. Y'all are getting pretty much the whole entire experience there. So Salcedo and Spire are our lefties. So actually, if we're going to try to replace him, it probably needs to be with a lefty. Caleb Ferguson was okay last year, not great. That's the one thing that might be what keeps Salcedo, to be honest with you, on the team. Colombe was solid. Rogers, can he hold the rating? 199. The fit was real solid. Let's replace. He's very similar to Shelby Miller, but it would at least be another lefty for us. Winker's 32. He had a lot of regression. Let's just go with that. And I have, just so I'm not confused, I have offered arbitration to everybody. And we did offer the big contract to Logan Gilbert, for what it's worth. Nope, we're ready to go ahead and simulate. Okay. I guess I didn't offer any contracts there. Ooh, Zach Gallen. I don't need a starting pitcher. So Kyle Tucker actually has quite a lot of interest in signing with us. Oh my goodness gracious. He is 29, coming off a monster season. Would probably move him to the 3, Julio to the 2. That is a lot of money, and our pitching staff is about to get expensive, though. I think the smart money is to save a little bit, really and truly, and go after Winker, who is now coming off of back-to-back seasons with a north of 360 on base percentage. You can honestly hit him second in this lineup. And move Crawford down. let's just say if I wanted to shrink this down to 6, it won't let me go but to 6. I mean, he's going to get big money. We'll keep him on the list. Taylor Rogers has interest. I have interest. Do 1.28 or 4.28 for 1 year there. I like that. Winker wants 2 for 9. We'll offer him. So in pending offers, that would put us at $26 million, would obviously put us out the Kyle Tucker range. He has a lot of motivation. He's just going to be incredibly expensive for a guy that obviously is outstanding. You know, I mean, he is a guy that stole 20 stolen bases with 33 speeds, a good defender, but has, no matter what, has limited range with that speed. Winker is going to do nothing but DH for us anyway. Almost, I mean, essentially the same discipline in clutch. He's just not as good a hitter, obviously, as Kyle Tucker is. But, yeah, I think at this point, I can give Winker, you know, $15 or $25 million less for what I really would want to sign him for 60 less points in on-base percentage. I think I'm okay with that. Nope, I would not like to stop simulating. Jesse Winker is now a member of the Seattle Mariners. And so, and Taylor Rogers is also going to become a Seattle Mariner. So, okay. So, I do think that we have improved this team. Burleson, you know, I think now is going to end up sliding in essentially exactly where he was with St. Louis. He's going to be a very good bench player for us. And honestly, I'm still probably going to play Burleson against lefties over Rayleigh. He's a better hitter, slightly, at least anyway, against lefties. He definitely is just because of the plate discipline. But against righties, Winker slides right into that 5th spot. Had worst in this lineup. Really good clutch, honestly, against righties. Actually going to move Raleigh down a spot. 79-60 versus 72-62. We'll keep Raleigh up at the 4. He didn't really hit much like a cleanup hitter. But I think Winker sliding in there. Then Winker is really just as good against lefties, especially once you add in the plate discipline, the clutch. Really, Garver. Garver had a solid season, though. We may play around with that. I'll leave Winker on the bench at least just for right this second on that side. Burleson will get, you know, every start against lefties at first base because Rayleigh cannot hit them at all. But Winker is at least a DH against righties and will really help. That's a 364 on base percentage for him. Garver produced a 327 on base percentage, a 762 OPS in general, largely hitting against lefties. I think that'd be a good combination. We get Winker for fairly cheap. And now that'll obviously put Taylor Rogers right in the middle of our bullpen. Wait, what happened with all my relief pitchers? Okay. There's a couple of them right there. Did that end up moving? I might have done something wrong with my bullpen guys. So let's go. So now we need to add Michael King. I mean, I'm interested, but you know. Yep, Kyle Tucker removed from the big board. Figured that was going to happen. Now, as we look, I just want to take a look at like some of these. I guess I did not offer some of these guys. Like, okay, I did something wrong. So let's go get some of these guys back here. I'm sorry, I did something wrong with them. Thankfully, I caught it there, or else we'd have had no relief pitchers there at all. Trevor Gott, yeah, we'll offer him there as well. $3 million, that'll be fine. Trent Thornton. Definitely won't Thornton. I messed something up there with those guys. So yeah, we need to get. I want to get all those guys back there. Got really lucky there. Assuming they decide to come back. All right, so Thornton's back. Gott is back. Kyle Tucker. Where is he going to play for the Dodgers? Who is going to the bench in LA? Because that is insane. I mean, literally, who do they like? Will they have their lineup like ready now? Kyle Tucker's on the bench right now. God, jeez Louise. Colin Snyder. Well, welcome back. Okay, so we got all three of those relievers back. I think at this point now you just keep trying to sign some of these relief pitchers. Tyler Rogers. The other Rogers brother. Really and truly now what I'm looking for, I need to just find some low-level guys just for the minors here. Just yeah, because all of a sudden I have nobody. Yeah, I mean, the rest of my positions and stuff are fine. I missed something when it came to the relief pitchers somehow. Yeah, so we don't have to just sign a bunch of low level. I'll just do that right quick. But yeah, so far I think this has been a pretty good off season for us. Feel like we did a lot of like what I was wanting and attempting to do here. So very happy. Again, now just trying to add a bunch of these lower level guys. I cannot believe I messed this up somehow. I'm not going to give you that much money. All right, so I filled in some of the bullpen pieces. And now, as we are looking at this team, I mean, we're pretty well. Like, somebody's already going to have to go down. Probably going to end up being Salcedo. I ended up bringing him back. Added just some more bullpen depth. Would not mind maybe trying to add in maybe just another relief pitcher or two. Still do have interest here. Miguel Castro, he was really good last year. Yeah, righty. Just see how interested he would be. But now I'm trying to fill out just really kind of some of the more like second tier. These guys. Okay, that'll work. That's a nice, easy guy to sign there. Lucas Gilbreth. I'm okay with that. Okay. Yeah, well. Okay. So now that we've added a couple of, more mid-level relievers types now, feel pretty good about where the bullpen sits. If we look at this lineup, let's look at it from a depth chart perspective. So rotation looks good. Ranked second. Bullpen is ranked 8th. Catcher is ranked 4th. Rayleigh 18th. So right field is still obviously not great. We can work with Robles over there for another year. Winker, DH. Okay. With Burleson kind of being a backup everywhere. I haven't looked at this screen in a minute. So even as we get to 2028, the bullpen still looks like it's going to be in a pretty good spot with Valencia at that point, expected to be a player. Emerson, Cole Young, Roya. Okay. So, yeah. Top center field. Look pretty good overall now in the outfield. Feel okay with where we are now as far as the infield is concerned. So I think we improved the offense. Is it really worth even adding a guy like Miguel Castro? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Like that's already too many people there as is. I think we're done. I think we're just going to, let's just get things moving through the rest of the offseason. I think we're good. Go to the draft lottery. Let's see where we are going to be selecting. We are going to be selecting 22nd in the draft this year. We'll take a look at the lottery, see who ends up with that number 1 pick. And, I skipped through it. I accidentally pressed it. Thought I may have to press it to go through. I think the Rockies ended up with the number 1 pick. That was kind of anticlimactic. Okay. Zach Gallen goes to the Twins. 7 years, $182 million. Wow. Yeah, we can go to the Rule 5 draft. I don't think I have any room on the 40-man, but we'll go here just for fun. Anybody worth even taking a look at? So Robert Stevenson, we don't need any more bullpen pieces. We're okay. So we will just skip our selection. Still a couple of people being taken there. Gavin Cross, one of them. Now we are done with the Rule 5 draft. I just want to take a look just to see what free agents are even left available. So Vlad, Michael King, and Zach Eflin are all still here. Would be interested to see who they would even be talking to. There's still some big names though up here at the top. Guys coming off good seasons. Obviously Vlad was great. King was great. Eflin was phenomenal. Suarez was good. Freddie was good. Martinez was good. All these guys were excellent. Gleyber Torres still up there. But I just don't think we need to really do anything else. Got 38 guys on our 40-man. So there may be any more. Probably need to add just another relief pitcher or two, maybe a starting pitcher. Who are our guys on the 40-man? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's not going to hurt anything to save a guy or two here. We'll add Jimmy Joyce to the 40-man. That gives us 39. We got 4 catchers on the 40-man now, so that position's fine. 3 first basemen, 3 second basemen. None of these third basemen are going to be on there. Shortstop, we got 2 there actually, with Rivera's being on there. So yeah, I think we're okay. No reason to force a 40th man. Yeah, let's just keep simulating. Zach Eflin does sign with the Cardinals. Michael King signs with the Angels. Look at them. Somebody in the AL West. That's nice. I have to make sure we take a chance at playing him. We're good on the simulating. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. finally signs with the Cubs. 6 years, $158 million. So a little less. Maybe a little less than what he was wanting. But good get for them, for sure. Replaces Kyle Tucker for them pretty well. Yeah, I think we can just simulate pretty much the rest of the offseason. Ranger Suarez signs back with the Diamondbacks. Ranger Suarez with the Phillies. I was thinking of Eugenio Suarez. Okay, so that was a big get there for the Diamondbacks. We're good. Nope, we're good. We'll just go ahead and sim to arbitration hearings. Just out of curiosity, what could we get for Luis Castillo? I'm not really that interested in looking. I want to keep this rotation together. Sim to arbitration hearings. Yep, let's get it. Still pretty much all that's all the same. So Luke Raley, we won that conversation. Okay. Okay, so they sided with us for Kirby as well. That's nice. Sided with Miller. Sided with the Mariners. We're actually winning a lot of these, surprisingly. Sided with Raleigh on that one. Okay, Rosarena didn't get much more than what we offered. Brash. We won with Burleson. Gilbert is making $21.2 million. Holy cow. Santos. I think that's okay. So what did that end up leaving our budget with? $24 million. So we actually, because we won a lot of those offers, we actually had more money to spend than what, I think we thought we had. But yeah, I think this is a rock solid team here. All things considered. Maybe we'll come out here. Randall Grichuk. He's already declining. He was rock solid last year, though. Really hits lefties well. It actually would not be a terrible fit, but yeah, we're good. I may just sign just any random closer here. We're good. Nope, we're going to go ahead and we are going to simulate the spring training. So we have finally made it. This was a much longer episode than what I was planning to. Of course, some of this will get edited out. But we have 39 players on our 40-man roster. I don't think it's time to start the clock on anybody like Cole Young. I think waiting another year, get him up, this upcoming offseason and add him there. But the big move of the day, Luis Rengifo, adding him after back-to-back seasons at 3 straight seasons of at least a 760 OPS. Really rock solid. Not minding that at all. Obviously, it's not incredible. It's not amazing. But really, really solid numbers on a team that really needs guys hitting closer to that number. I mean, you figure Polanco, one of the best hitters on the team last year, 706. Julio, probably still our best overall hitter, 792. Luke Raley, 792 OPS. So adding a guy like Luis Rengifo, who pretty much guarantees you a 760 plus, for 2 years, relatively cheap, is really nice. We added in Jesse Winker. He's going to be a DH for us, coming off back-to-back years of at least 765. His 805 OPS would have been probably the best on the entire team. It doesn't come with a ton of power, but it comes with good batting averages, which is crazy with where he was there in 22. The last time he was in Seattle in 23. We bring Winker back. He got reclamated in other places. I forgot that he actually was in Seattle, so don't know how realistic that may actually be. But a guy with his clutch, a guy with his discipline, it's good numbers. He can still hit lefties. He's durable. Obviously, doesn't need to be playing the field for you a ton. The big thing we had to figure out is really the DH situation against lefties. Raleigh is obviously not coming off the field at all. Garver mashes lefties pretty well. I think at that point, I will probably keep Garver, who's making $12 million a year, as the backup catcher, obviously, but also DHing against lefties. Start occasionally against righties, which he does well against. Winker definitely starting against righties as the DH. So I think that fills your 2 DH spots. It'll be Garver against lefties, Winker against righties, at least to start off the season. See how things go there. Added in a couple of guys here to the bullpen. Obviously, we got all of our guys back. We added in Taylor Rogers, who had a great season last year. I made a couple of mistakes. But we brought, in a couple of guys, Brent Suter, Shelley, Raymond Burgos, Troy Taylor. We brought in guys that I think can really be a major help. We had to bring up Harry Ford to the team, or at least on the 40-man. We'll probably do a little minor spring training episode, nothing crazy. And again, at least at this point, not looking to, add Ramirez or anything. He doesn't have any quirks, I guess. Kind of a little surprised by that. But Adrian Ramirez is a guy we're really, really looking forward to. Again, brings that 89 potential. Should really hit while I'm doing it. I'm sorry, it may be a little unrealistic. John Simon here, 21-year-old. He's a hitter. He's a pop guy, 5'7". I'm not particularly crazy about that. I'm not going to make him gigantic or anything, but it's a little too small for my likings. We'll just make him like 6 foot 187. I think he's a little bit more realistic type of player he is. Really, the only thing I don't like about Ramirez is that he's only 5'10", playing first base, but he's a great defender. Already. He's a guy that legitimately could be playing in the majors at 18 years old, probably be at 19, which, speaking of which, we should be able to see our top prospects. Gary Valencia is a top 5 prospect in all of baseball. It really and truly, I see it. It's not outstanding, overwhelming stuff, but it's really solid. He's got really good potential. Ramirez, the number 8 prospect in all of baseball. Love to see it. Montalvo from that class, Fabregas. Okay. Reese Stevens from that draft class. So several guys really there at the top that they actually consider as better prospects than Ramirez, but I do not, for what it's worth. Let's just take a look, see how many people we got. It's already a long episode. Why not make it just a little bit longer? 1, 2. John Simon makes it in the top 30, so that's 3. Colt Emerson, number 44, is 4th. Cole Young is our 5th prospect, 47. Arroyo, 67, is 6. Martin Diaz, another draft pick, is our 7th guy there. Okay, at 74. I think Diaz is the one, though, that's probably going to take a little bit longer to get there. Harry Ford, I didn't see him. So, 8 guys in the top 100. So, 62 overall. He's 22. He's going to be definitely more of a late bloomer. Like if we, I guess it'll actually show me right here if we do about organization. ETA 2026 for Valencia. 2026 for this year, in theory, is when it said they could be major league ready. Diaz is showing 2028, Montez 26, Parsons, Hopkins. Okay. So I don't expect any of these guys to make the majors this year. Valencia, though, by the time he's 22, 23, could be close. Like if you come over here and look at the depth chart. I mean, Valencia looks like in 2027 he's going to be right on the cusp of being a guy. By 2028, I think at this point he's definitely worthy of being a starter. And by 2029, you're looking at a guy that really is a very, very good starting pitcher, which is really nice to see. But yeah, I do like we've moved up. I believe we started this series at 9th. Overall, we're up to 6th, 13th in speed, still just 21st in contact, but 7th in power, 2nd in pitching. The defense is not great, really and truly, because of what you get in this infield. But the defense with Arozarena is not awful. Julio is obviously elite. Robles is a pretty good defender. Burleson is not a good defender, though. Marlowe is a solid defender that might be able to keep him in the majors, to be honest with you. If Rayleigh has to play the outfield, he's not horrible, really, either. He's actually fine. The reaction is not great, but the speed kind of makes up for that. But I really like what we did with this team, and I think this is going to kind of be a rough basis with what we do with this lineup. I think Rengifo leading off with Crawford, Julio, Raleigh as that core top 4. The big decision really is going to be, Winker is making $9 million. Garver is making $12 as the backup catcher, making more than Raleigh is. It's the last year for Garver technically on the team. He's 35. Does he see regression? It's going to be really just kind of what you do with Winker. Does he end up hitting against lefties? I think Garver is a better overall bat from that standpoint. We brought back Polanco as well. We're going to protect Luke Rayleigh by not having him start against lefties. But yeah, bringing back Polanco, $7 million. If this is it for him, I think this is it. I think that's perfectly fine. He's been good for us. And then Rengifo, if nothing else, can move back from third over to second base, more to his natural position. Robles is going to start at the bottom of the lineup now. Had a 56 steals last year, but 322 on base percentage I think is good enough for the bottom of the order, trying to essentially then be a table setter here for the top of it. We'll mess around with the lineup. I do want Crawford with that on base percentage probably hitting above Julio. Julio maybe toying with him at batting second, and then Crawford and Winker switching. Maybe something like that would make sense to get Julio as many at bats as possible. But yeah, that's going to be it here for spring for the off season. We'll probably do a little bit here in spring training. It won't be a lot. I think really what I would like to do is maybe get a little player lock game with Harry Ford, get one with Rengifo, get one with Winker, and that'll probably really be about all that I really want to do, just to kind of get a couple of practice swings in. That way you guys can actually see, we'll go over the stats and everything, but that way you guys can actually see what these guys look like when they're playing. But yeah, if you enjoy the content, like, subscribe. A little longer episode, longest one I think we've had here in the series, other than maybe the game 1 and 2 of the wild card round. But yeah, we're getting ramped up here for year 2. Next episode will be a little bit of spring training, be a spring training season preview kind of thing. But I think you guys kind of got the gist of what I think of this roster. So yeah, if you enjoy the content, like, subscribe, check out my other work on the channel in the Tulane Dynasty and my Atlanta Hawks franchise. And yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. Until next time.